Hey guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. So today I want to focus on just really having a chit chat with you guys, just more so examining, or I guess you could say comparing the two areas when we're talking about educational knowledge versus spiritual knowledge. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. I'm not gonna be using any particular people as an example, but I'll be using myself when giving examples throughout this discussion. So as far as educational knowledge is concerned, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, go through the schooling process, go on to pursuing your post-secondary ed, even for some of us who pursued our graduate level degrees thereafter, to go through the entire process, the journey, and only to be able to obtain that piece of paper at the end. It's an amazing, amazing accomplishment. But as far as how you apply it, or how often you apply it, that's another thing to think about. In some cases, you may not even get a chance to apply what you've actually learned during your time of obtaining that degree, but you still earned it. It's still something that was well earned. Now, as far as any knowledge, when it comes to applying that to life, that's a completely different animal, to be quite honest. The reason why I say that is because the fact of the matter is what you learned in terms of your book knowledge, can you truly apply it to life experiences? Life experiences in the sense of what one deals with in their day-to-day. I guess it depends. A small percentage may have been able to, meaning like they may have been able to go on to obtain jobs that are aligned with the study that they've taken on in school. But then again, even with that, you're only using a minute percentage of that knowledge you've gained while in school to apply it to your job. Now, when it comes down to talking about the spiritual knowledge, that's a completely different ballgame, but in a good way. In a good way, because you're using other senses to be able to apply to your day-to-day that actually helps you to get through your day-to-day in terms of your life, AKA nudges. I had to laugh on that part because I'm always saying nudges. But truly, it is a valid point. A valid point in the sense that when it comes to what you deal with in your day-to-day, whether it be work or if it's dealing with people that you see in your everyday existence that truly doesn't matter, it's just simply what it is. It's a beautiful thing. I can tell you one thing. I even think about the whole thing in terms of what people I guess would say like street smarts. It's all about how you apply it. At the end of the day, it's something that if you apply it the correct way, it can take you far. But if you apply it in a bad way, then that's on you. So when we're talking about the whole notion of applying more of the spiritual knowledge, just as far as what nudges that are being sent your way, as far as, and nudges can come in various forms with the signs, the synchronicities, the dreams, the visions, you name it. Just taking that knowledge and applying it to your day-to-day, I think that could take an individual far. And the reality of it all too is that it could take you far in terms of your everyday existence, but this can also be something that you can be able to pass on to others who may just be embarking on that journey for the first time. I honestly feel that you never want to be that one that is known as an educated idiot. Part of the reason is because, again, regardless of how much education you have underneath you, you'll still forever be known as just that, the N factor, the idiot. This is where the humbling of self needs to come into play. And understanding that we all have this walk that we have to take on in this journey called life. And I understand some people might get there quicker than others, but keep in mind, everyone's end game is not the same as well. So who are we to judge the next man when they are just trying to get through this thing called life, just like you and I. Same could be said even in reference to myself, you know, knowing the type of space that I work in, knowing the type of resume I have with my, you know, prior academia, things like that. Knowing the very people I stand alongside with daily, I know if it came down to it, I could run circles around, hands down, just based on the stuff that I've been tipped on in terms of these individuals off to the side. But does that give me this sense of air and knowing that, like, does it cause me to act a certain way or treat them a certain way, knowing that, you know, I know this information? No, because I understand that they are going through the same motions as myself. And who am I to even think that I'm better than the next guy when they are, you know, taking on the same track, doing the same motions that I do day to day in terms of our job position. And again, just punching in and punching out, just like everybody else. So who am I to judge anyone based on that? That is all for today's video. I want to hear you guys' thoughts about that when it comes to the notion of education knowledge versus spiritual knowledge. Which one do you think trumps over the other? Do you think it could be education versus spiritual or vice versa? Think about this also when trying to come up with a decision on that. Think of how it was in the earlier ages of this space, where education wasn't such a strong thing. It was more so about survival techniques, things of that nature, or using the resources that we have around us to get through our day-to-day. You know, when there was no such thing as electricity, when there was no such thing as furniture or cars, or, you know, just examples. Follow me on this one. Before the time that we have now, when people had to really depend on the resources they had around them, and it wasn't the way that it is now, right? Which one do you think was more of the solid approach to go with? Even before we obtained these texts, whether it's dealing with, you know, in regards to the educational books, or if it's dealing with the religious texts, let's talk about that too. And when I say religious texts, let me be clear, I'm not talking about just the Bible, I'm talking about all of them. What was it that man depended on before these texts were brought to fruition? I hear some readers say fruition, and it kind of grinds my gears, by the way. What you guys are trying to say is fruition. It's F-R-U-I-T-I-O-N. And when I see some videos, I'm like, oh, someone should tell them. And I've actually called several YouTubers saying, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I know what they're trying to say, but I don't think they realize that that's the actual word they want to use. It's fruition, not fruitation. But I get up that. And no, when I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you with love. Please understand that I'm telling you with love. It's going forward, excuse me, I had a tongue twister there. Say fruition. Same could be said about the word aura. I've heard some say Ura, and it's like, it's so adorable. I'm like, I don't think they know what they're saying, but it's aura, A-U-R-A. Okay, but I do mean that with love. Please understand that I do, but I think it's adorable when you guys do that. So to kind of go back to what I was saying, before these books were formulated, let's go that route, right? What did people actually depend on to be their source of belief? You can't deny it. It was something that was more spiritual. It was something that was more so from within. And they didn't need a text, especially like a religious text, to give them that knowing, that understanding that there is something much higher that has allowed us to come to this earthly plane. Love to hear you guys' thoughts about that. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. You guys are amazing when it comes to updating me on the other platforms. I have still been getting quite a bit of emails, so definitely keep that coming. As always, consultations are still open, so if you are interested, definitely take advantage of it. And if you have any issues with scheduling an appointment, as always, definitely message me on my other platforms or email, and I will make sure to get things squared away for you as soon as possible. In terms of my calendar, I'll let you know what spots are available, and then we can just go from there. But as always, I am definitely sending you guys with love and light, and I'll see you in the next video. Be blessed, you guys.